Can you clap louder? Wake me up.
God, and the whole time, I'm like, we're gonna have a positive podcast. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be about nothing. We're just gonna be in a good mood because we are so lucky and we are so. We are a happily married couple, and I'm like, okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
Most of the time.
Today, we woke up and we are today.
Just to be clear, I said we were a happily married couple, and then she was like, no, we're not. We're actually not.
No, we are a happily married couple.
So I was like, okay, let's stay positive. But, oh my gosh, just to get the
We're a happily married couple with healthy fighting habits. I think they're healthy. Would you describe them as healthy?
No, yours are not. Mine are. I like to have discussions. Renae likes to convince me that she is right and I am wrong.
That's a discussion.
So that's healthy. It's been so hard over here.
I thought you said we were going to be positive this podcast.
but we should talk about where we're at. I mean, it's poor Garrett, our son. Good Lord, that poor kid. And according to the doctor, the pediatrician, she told me that she has 5 cases that were identical and on the same timeline as Garrett's.
Kind of on track.
So Garrett ended up with a chest congestion, cough, took him in, treated him for that. Then all of a sudden he was not getting better. We took him back in. Turned out he had strep throat, got him treated for that. He's finally starting to feel better. Then I am in Des Moines, Iowa. It is Garrett's first baseball tournament.
Yes.
And Renae calls me on Friday and says, your son has a fever. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Friday night.
Yeah.
He's got to be at the game by Saturday morning. I said, oh crap. And then of course, Garrett is like, I want to play.
Yeah.
So I told Renae, I said, well, maybe it's just kind of the end of the strep throat thing. So Renae took him to the game, which by the way, I'm loving the fact that even though I'm on the road, I can watch the game on that Game Changer deal. Uh-huh. So I still got to see the games.
There's an app, and they live stream the app. And the parents, who have older siblings, know how to do this. There's a whole mount that connects to the fence. Yeah. They have the app, and it's crazy.
It's really cool. So I was able to watch the game, but Garrett literally only made it 3 innings.
Yeah.
He was feverish and sick, and he just couldn't get it together. And we were like, oh my God, what the crap? And then Sunday he wakes up, he's still not feeling well. Of course, yesterday's Monday. We go to the doctor as soon as we can. And it turns out that he now has mono. And it's like, this poor kid, man. It's been a month. It's been a month
of him being sick. We've been in the doctor's office every week. Every time I call and make the appointment, I feel like the crazy mom who's taking her kid back. But it's legit something every time we go.
And it was heartbreaking because, when we were in the doctor's office and Dr. Garcia said, she goes, well, she starts giving him the options. She's like, I'm 99% sure it's mono. Look at his throat. Poor kid has sores in his throat.
Yeah.
And then when she left, Garrett started crying and he goes, "Why me, Daddy? Why me? And why does this have to happen to me? And I just want to play baseball and I just want to go to school." And and I just hugged him and I said, "Buddy," I said, the good news is that you're probably not going to get sick after this for a very long time.
Gosh, let's hope, right?
But it broke my heart. It really broke my heart. But I also really thought of the positive, and I thought of those parents when their kid has cancer or their kid has something very, very serious, right? And it just made me think of them, and it made me think, you know what, we're going to get through this, right? And so far, it is nothing serious.
Yeah.
It is, so it has been rough around here for the Trevinos, and then I actually got sick with the same thing Garrett had, strep. So then I show up in Des Moines sick.
Yeah.
And
was it cold?
It was cold, but not stupid cold.
Yeah.
It was just cold, But it is, again, Des Moines was one of those things where I had gone, I did okay years ago.
Long time ago.
It was
right?
2017. I did okay.
Yeah.
I didn't do great, right? And it was one of those markets that was like, man, I don't
know if I'm ever going to come back.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever coming back. We didn't do great. And then we went back and we sold out every single show. And it was all fans, and people absolutely loved the show. And those are the wins for me that make me go, man, I'm glad I didn't give up.
Any people from 2017?
Not particularly that I know, but there were some people that were like, oh, we always travel to Chicago to see you. Because Chicago's like 2.5 hours or whatever. We always go to Chicago to see you. We're so happy you came here so we can see you here. Yeah. Right? So it turned out to be a really great weekend. Unfortunately for me, because I was sick, no casino.
Oh, and there was a casino.
There was a casino.
Wow, you must have not been feeling well to not go to a casino if there was one close by.
I still have a little bit of it, but not only that, I was like, I'm just tired of being sick, like Garrett. I want to get better. I'm on antibiotics. If I drink and I go out and push myself, then that means I'm going to be sick longer. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go to bed. Let's go to the hotel room.
You got a dark hotel room you can crash.
Yeah, and I did wake up and go see a movie on Saturday.
What'd you see?
Ant-Man.
That's out in the theaters now? There's a new Ant-Man movie? I'm so out of touch. I don't even know what's out.
But all the Marvel movies are the same. Right? It is something is threatening the end of the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're losing the world. Oh my God, Ant-Man saved us.
Yeah. I love Paul Rudd. I just don't know that I buy him as a superhero.
He's great. I think Paul Rudd, and he also seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch, and it helped me kill 2 hours on Saturday. But I sit there and I go, man, I like movies about people.
Yes.
About humans.
Yeah.
About
you and I talk about this all the time. I don't need a fancy storyline. Like, just give me a good plot.
Good plot, good movie. I'm telling you, we watched Parenthood the other day, and I was like, man, this movie needs to be remade. It was literally following the ups and downs of this family raising kids.
Yeah.
The divorcee, the married couple with the younger kids, the divorcee with the older kids, dealing with the son not having a father, and then the other parents, Rick Moranis' couple, they had their little girl, and they were like, we're going to make her a genius, and and just watching like different the struggles and ups and downs of parenthood to me was more interesting than Ant-Man.
Yeah.
The family dynamics, how
different one child is from the other.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, Brad Garrett, he told me, he goes, buddy, they're all pre-wired.
Yeah.
He goes, your kids come out the way they're going to come out.
I'm sorry, the pediatrician is supposed to call me, so I want to keep this on.
Is that the pediatrician?
That is not the pediatrician.
Okay, then ignore it.
I did.
You look very pretty today, by the way.
Thank you.
Much more pretty than the shirt you wore yesterday with the...
I don't even know what I was wearing yesterday.
With the paint stains and... But
oh, you're talking about what Brad said, and then my phone rang.
Yeah, no, Brad said, he's like, look, your kids are pre-wired.
Yeah.
They're going to be the way they're going to be. And then he goes, you just have to nurture whatever that is. Yeah. Right. And man, after he said that, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm a good parent. I can make them do,
I can make them.
I can parent them, and it's true. Garrett is Garrett and Delilah is Delilah.
Yeah.
My sister Victoria says the same thing. She goes, I have 3 girls. They're all 1 year apart, literally 1 year apart. And she goes, and all 3 of them raised in the same household, raised with the same parents, and they're all so different.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something to be said about everybody goes, but that second one.
What do you mean?
Everybody goes, but that second one.
Well, you're a second one, and I'm a second one.
That the first one is always, the good kid, the overachiever, the I want to please my parents, follow the rules.
Yeah.
And then the second one doesn't give a fuck.
Well, that's Garrett and Delilah.
Yes. That was me.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's accurate in my
That's
family,
not accurate in your family.
Yeah.
Your brother's the I don't give a fuck, and then you were the overachiever, follow the rules, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think it's funny that most people are like, oh, that first one tricks you. That first one makes you go, you know what, we can do this.
Yeah.
This one was good. easy. Let's do it again. And then I think it was Saturday's second show. I asked for any questions, and then somebody was so sweet, and they said, "How's Daddy Raymond?"
Oh.
And I said, "Thank you for asking. He's doing great. He's doing that." So he came to visit you guys this weekend.
He
right?
did. We thought Garrett was on antibiotics and so my parents came right after Dad had his chemo treatment at MD Anderson, and now I'm of course nervous that we exposed him to something, but hopefully he's okay. He kind of kept his distance and he stayed outside, but it was really good to see them, and we had the baby chicks out in the yard because we got new baby chicks and letting them play.
Oh yeah, the little. I showed up with 3 little chicks, and they're freaking tiny, dude.
Yeah.
The last 2 we got, Cluck and I forget the other name.
We've been through chickens. We're losing track of names.
But it was a little bigger. Like these are like
itty bitty,
tiny. And I brought them home, and then of course Garrett was all excited about it, and then Delilah sees them, and at first she was like, and now she's like,
for the first 2 days,
she's picking them up, putting them on my shoulder, like hanging out. So and then our neighbor, him and his wife, they came to visit. I said, because the little girl's just so excited about us having property and us having chickens, and she came and she looks at them, and I said, "Do you want to take one home?" I go, "You can raise one." And she was like, "Can I?" And then her mom is like,
she said, "I want to dye its hair pink and paint its little claws." Not claws. What do you call them on a chicken? Are they claws? I don't even know what they're called on a chicken.
Just call them claws. Call them talons. The chicken talons. So she took one, and then now she has. They set up chicken play dates.
Yes.
To come over and hang out. So I think it's so cool, to see the kids be around it, be excited about it.
Yeah. I have to make sure Delilah doesn't step on a chicken. She gets so excited and they're like so quick around her feet.
Well, that's my fear. I mean, Garrett has been so good about checking to make sure that the chickens have water, the chickens have food. He never complains when I go, "Hey, go check on the chickens.
Yeah.
Take care of that." He never complains. He always goes, "No problem, Dad." He goes out there in his little Polaris and he handles it. So I think it's such a good thing for kids to learn responsibility.
Yeah.
And chickens for the most part are fairly, I can fill their food and their water and be gone for a whole weekend and they're fine.
Yeah.
So it's not like a dog where you need to have a dog sitter.
Right.
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 But that is nice. I'm also kind of bribing the neighbor, like, "Hey, one of those chickens is yours, so you need to go and make sure that those chickens are okay, and take care of them." But all in all, it was a good weekend, other than the fact that poor Garrett was,
down
sick
for the
and
count.
down for the count, and just not feeling well,
Yeah.
And even now, man, he's missed so much school. Did you send in the excuse?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got that phone call yesterday. Your son has been absent.
Yes.
But spring break is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio. By the time you watch this, I am in Columbus, Ohio this week. And then next week we're doing Naples, Florida.
And then West Palm Beach.
Have we ever told the story of Papa Rich and Gigi?
I think we have. We've talked about them before. It's been a while, but we've talked about them. Yeah.
So we're so excited. We also get to see Papa Rich and Gigi out there because, come on in.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
We are all done.
Okay.
We are ready to select the total.
Okay, don't say it out loud. You're being recorded. Miss Lori can take care of that for you. We have the AC guy here working on the AC, literally above us. We needed some duct work, so he came in and goes, "Pay me, fool." So we're gonna get that taken care of. Give us an update on the casita and how we've blown the budget.
How we've blown the budget. We're good. We have floors. We have cabinets. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you keep checking your phone too.
Well, I'm making sure. I had a message from. It was kind of a complicated. I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. We're a little all over the place today.
We are, and we're trying to catch up. But go ahead.
The casita, it's good. We have a bathroom, we have a kitchen, we got floors. We're good.
Yes, we are way.
We're good, and I'm ready to be done.
No, yes, we are way, way, way over budget. However, it is a completely different space.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we pretty much literally gutted it out.
Well, you say we're way over budget, but like you bought this mini split and you bought it so long ago that now when they go to install it, it doesn't work.
Is this your way of trying to find a way?
Where you blew the budget.
No.
Yes.
That thing is going to get returned. It's broken. It doesn't work. And there was no
It's
fault
out of the
mine.
30-day window. I don't know if we can return it.
Well,
They've said we can't.
So, guys, we are over budget because of my mini split. That's why we are over budget.
Well, no. And the AC guy had to come back a whole nother day to do it.
We don't have to pay him again for that.
Contractor said we did.
No, I talked to him. We're good.
Okay.
Anyway, it is amazing to me. This is our relationship, and not to start a fight, but it is amazing to me how I go, hey,
I don't
Renae.
have the energy to fight with you today.
How I go, hey, Renae.
You can fight in your own microphone.
You went over budget, and then my wife and most wives, she found a way to go, oh, let me tell you why you're the problem. Your mini split is the problem. No, I can't make sure that every mini split we get is going to work. It didn't work. It's broken. But that is not why we are over budget.
No, that is not why we are over budget. The main reason we are over budget, because I talked about this with contractor and my dad this weekend while he was here. You kept saying you wanted it to happen under a certain number. And the contractor was like, okay, yeah, I think we can make it happen, knowing full well it could not happen under that number.
That is not true.
And you have that figure stuck in your head.
No,
it was really, really, you kind of set an impossible benchmark.
You blew it by almost double.
The number was impossible to begin with.
We went from the contractor saying, yes, if we watch what we're doing, we can hit that number.
No, he had already upped it. Even then, he'd already upped it 5.
Okay, let's not go there because it's going to turn into a thing. You're impossible. I love you with all my heart. What else?
I have nothing else for you.
Delilah has.
I feel like it has been a month of taking care of sick children. I really thought about that between like the projects here around the house and the sick kids. If you asked me what I managed the rest of this month, that's probably it.
I mean, it has been rough.
Yeah.
You know, and again, like I said, I was like, man, let's get on the podcast. Let's be positive. Let's have a great episode. But man, it has been rough. I mean,
and I have managed to stay healthy, but today I think I'm tanked.
Yeah, you're crashing out a little bit.
Yeah.
It is springtime, and it's so beautiful to see all the trees budding and all the stuff. But I'm so like I'm looking at my yard, and I'm like, man, if I don't get on it, I might not make yard of the year. I saw the sign in someone else's yard. I was driving through. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna get out there today again and work my butt off. But the yard is not looking like I would like it to look. I have to agree, Steve Trevino. I gotta get on it, and I will recover. It's what I do. I will not give up. I will not quit. I will make it happen. We still have a lot of dead stuff out there from the freeze we got to get rid of. Yeah, and then we are working. Just to kind of give, I get so bummed, when people go, hey, I saw you. I don't know if we've talked about this, but they go, hey, I saw you 6 months ago. I want to see you again. Is it the same show? Yeah. Right. And it's tough because the way my process works is, what the heck? The way my process works is I film a special. Yeah. And then I start filtering out that material, and then I start writing new material. Yes. Right? So then I start writing that new material, and then I work on it, do it, add to it, fix it, put it in order, and get it ready to film. And then once I get it ready to film, then I pretty much do that show exactly. Like I do it exactly the way that I wrote it, so that then when I film it, it's perfect, right?
Yes.
So when people come see me, it's one of those things where it's like, well, at what point in that process did you come? Right?
Yeah.
So like Des Moines, when I go to Des Moines, when I was in Des Moines last weekend, I'm basically showing them. And the cool part is I haven't been to Des Moines.
Right. So
Right?
they haven't seen an act.
So they haven't
in years.
seen any of it.
Yeah.
So I'm able to go there and go, and then they go, oh my God, this is all new material.
Right.
I haven't seen any of it. And I'm showing them the finished product, or close to finished product of what I'm going to end up filming.
Yeah.
Right. But you also have those people that go, I saw you in Chicago when you were at the Vic, which was 7-8 months ago.
Was it? It wasn't
6
even that
months
long,
ago
was
or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And they go, I hope I didn't repeat a bunch. They're like, no, we love it. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's hard because it depends on what part. And then the shitty part is, like, I would like to have filmed that special 3 months ago. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have filmed this special 3 months ago because I am ready to move on from it. But what people don't understand is I cannot move on from it and start writing new material because I will forget it.
Because you don't write anything down.
No, but even if I don't write it down, it's not that I won't forget it. It's
the rhythm of it.
I have to knock the dust back off of it. I can't just put it aside, start working on new material. I need to film it, be done with it, and then go. So right now I'm in this phase of, do I want to be doing this material every single night, every single show? Not really, but I have to because I don't have a filming date yet.
But wouldn't you also say that there's an overlay process? Like when you say it depends when someone comes to see, it takes a while to write.
It takes almost 2 years.
To write a new set. So it's not like one day it's the old stuff and the next day it's the new stuff. You're gradually taking things out
right,
as you're putting things in so that there's a full, complete, funny hour.
Right. Like the story that I'm doing right now about my dad's truck and raising kids.
Uh-huh.
That story I've been telling for almost 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't been able to film it.
Yeah.
Right? And
what about the fat sister and the spaghetti sandwich?
That's all part of it.
Yeah.
That's all part of it. So I do get bummed when people go.
Has it been 2 years that you've been doing that joke? It doesn't seem like it.
It's been 2 years, and it's frustrating because
I don't know if that's right.
I don't want people to come. I don't want coaches. I don't want people to come to my show and always see the same thing. And usually that's not the case, right? So for example, when I film this show, then I will start filtering out bits. And for me, the first bit I will probably filter out is that truck dad bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's a big chunk.
It's a big chunk, and I have been doing it for a long time. I will start writing more material, but leaving in the old stuff. And then over the 2 years, by the end of that 2 years, I now have a whole hour of brand new stuff.
Right.
So to those of you that love us, number one, thank you. But please understand that the way the process works for me,
it morphs.
It morphs. So, for example, if you hear I just filmed a special, know that when you see me, you might see some of the same stuff. However, you're going to see a looser Steve. I'm going to be a little looser with my material. I'm going to be a little, going to the crowd a little bit, trying to come up with that next bit.
Yeah.
Right. And then again, we start the process over.
Right.
Right. But it is also frustrating when people go, oh, I've already seen this. Well, first of all, I know comedians who have toured with the same act for 20 years.
Yeah.
Same exact act.
Yeah?
Yep. Same exact act for literally 20 years. I have been able to put out 5 1-hour specials that are all different.
Yeah.
Right? They are the same family wife topic, but it's different stories, different things that have happened.
Oh, they're all very different.
Because our life is different.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to me, like, when I look at I Speak Wife, it's like, oh yeah, man, Renae did wreck my truck. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a.
I remember when you started telling that joke, I was like, oh my God, can we just film it and be over and done with it so I don't have to hear this every weekend?
But it is a chronicle of my life.
Yeah.
Right. And our life. And sometimes, I get frustrated when they come to me and go, oh, I saw this. Well, man, I'm sorry. It is hard. It is very difficult to write an hour of material.
Yeah.
It is difficult to write 5 minutes of material. It takes comedians anywhere from 1 to 5 years to write 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this, like, a lot of people, when they're working on something specifically, they hire a writer or writers. Like, they have multiple writers sort of helping them. But what you do is so personal and true to us that, like, the inspiration's got to come from you.
But I also think that's why it resonates, right? I think it resonates because it is close to my sleeve, because I lived it. Somebody else didn't write it. Somebody didn't come to me and go, man, I
have this premise for a joke.
Yeah, I've got this great premise for a joke. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that happened to you, not me.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if I've ever told the story on stage, but when I was an opening act, I used to tell this story, and it wasn't about me. It was just a funny story.
Yeah.
And it was this.
Which one? Do I know it?
It was a story, and I don't. It's actually my cousin's story, so I don't want to put them on blast. But
Okay.
My cousin's 16 years old. His parents tell him that he can spend the night at somebody's house, and he gets drunk. He's 16 or 17.
Yeah.
He gets drunk, forgets that he's supposed to spend the night at somebody's house, walks in the house and catches his mom and dad having sex.
Uh-huh.
Right? Freaks out. Parents freak out. Bad deal. Right?
Yeah.
Years later, that cousin says, hey, Dad, I got to know, why would you 17 years later have another kid? And he goes, well, the night you surprised us, things, that's how, right? So
Surprise!
Surprise, right? You surprised us, and now we have a surprise, right? So because of that cousin would go to his little brother and say, the reason you're here is because of me. Uh-huh. Like, you wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even be here if I didn't get drunk and scare mom and dad.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was such a funny story.
Yeah.
And I took it on stage. And then afterwards, people would be like, that's so cool that you have a brother 17 years younger than you. Ah. And I felt like a fraud. And I go, man, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
Of I made it up.
How come you don't feel like a fraud when you tell lies about me on stage?
Close up.
I literally just laughed out loud at that, by the way.
What part?
What part?
Renee's line.
Yeah. Why don't? Yeah. Because you were like, well, there's a reason. But I felt like a fraud, and then I remember telling myself, I am no longer going to tell stories on stage that aren't real to me.
Yeah.
Right. They have to be real to me.
Right.
Right. So that's when another milestone in my comedy career came for me, was that, okay, now it's going to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. And there are comics that write jokes about their family that aren't true, or they write jokes.
They think something's funny, so they just
do it.
go off.
And that's okay. Right. I like
Yeah.
comics like that as well.
Yeah.
Right. So people just don't realize how hard it is to write a joke,
Yeah.
a good one. They don't realize how much time and effort it takes.
Thought goes into crafting a punchline.
And on the same note, there's so many comics that have been at it for 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And they go, man, my career's not progressing. You're not treating it like a job. You're not sitting down and going, I have to create an act.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we were even talking about last night, just the crafting a bit and how there are so many different ways to do it, and different comics have different comedic styles for how they choose to tell a joke.
Well, we were talking about that because of Chris Rock,
Yeah.
right? Renae and I stayed up last night watching the new Chris Rock special, and I don't watch any stand-up.
You don't. You actually fell asleep. You were snoring through the second half, but funny enough, I stayed up and finished watching the whole thing.
But when it's somebody like Chris Rock, who to me is so prolific,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what he had to say, right? Because he is like Dave Chappelle, like George Carlin was, like Robin Williams was. These are national treasures. They are no longer just stand-up comedians. They are people that the entire world knows, right?
Yeah.
So I'll watch those guys.
Well,
right?
Funny enough, so part of what you snored through last night, you fell asleep, you missed. He talks about raising privileged, spoiled children, which is something you're talking about right now. But for him, it's his 2 daughters.
Right. It wasn't nothing that I like mine, was it?
You tell stories very specifically about Garrett, and he actually tells a story about his daughter getting in trouble on a field trip in Portugal because she goes to some hoity-toity school, and their senior trip or whatever is in Portugal, and getting kicked out of the fancy school and having to apply for other schools, and
right.
how he dealt with that, hired lawyers, all of that. So it's a very different story.
Very different.
But the premise,
well, my son is privileged, but it sounds like his kids are fucking privileged, right?
But the same idea of he identifies as broke, and here he has these 2 very privileged daughters.
But I always talk about, and if you notice, and Rick's gonna love this, Chris Rock formula for telling jokes is the lowest form of joke telling. His formula. However,
when you say lowest form, that
the
sounds
easiest.
like you're discrediting how.
Let me finish.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the easiest way to tell a joke.
Yes.
However, his thoughts are what are so prolific.
Yeah.
His thoughts and the joke that he's telling is brilliant.
You're talking about the simplicity of his style.
Of his
is what
style,
you're referring
right?
to.
And if you notice the way Chris Rock writes jokes, he will tell you the premise,
Yeah.
right? So going back to some of his other famous specials where he will say, there's a difference between rich and broke, or rich and wealthy. He will tell you that. That's the premise.
Yeah.
Then he will give you the example, right? That, Shaquille O'Neal is rich. The person who pays him is wealthy.
Yeah.
Then he'll do probably 2 more examples. Then he'll do that's like, right? That's like this versus this,
Yeah.
right? But the thought of making you thought-provoking idea of, oh, wow, I've never thought about that.
Here's an example, but think about it this way.
Think about the fact that we consider Shaquille O'Neal to be rich. We've never even considered the people that pay him,
Yeah.
right? $5,000 a bullet, then people will think twice about shooting somebody, right? Then example. So the way that he tells jokes is very simple.
Yeah.
However, the thoughts are brilliant. Does that make sense, Rick?
100%, yes.
And people, that's what I tell
But
you.
people say that about you because people think you just get up there and tell stories. They're like, oh, he's just telling a story, something that happened at home. He's just getting up there and telling it. They have no idea how that joke is crafted and worked on before you say
Well,
it.
how complex the story is.
And how much you've exaggerated to make it even funnier.
I know, because baby, it's my fault that we went over budget. The way I tell the story is complex. The topic of the story is very simple,
Yeah.
right? The way I'm able to bring the funny out of taking
An
the
everyday
trash
situation. Yeah.
right? And the observation of this is how our dynamic is. And I always go back to my love for psychology.
Yeah.
I read psychology books. I understand the human psychology. I love human psychology. the psychology of my joke, to me, in my opinion, is I dive into that.
Yeah.
I dive into the psychology of our dynamic, specifically our dynamic. And I used to think, and I've learned better, I used to think that it was, oh, this is male and female. And it's not.
No, it's two different personalities.
Right.
That's what it is.
It is the two different personalities.
Yeah.
Yes, there are things that inherently women's personality lean to, right? But over time, I've learned when people come up to me and go, or a woman will come to me and go, I'm you, and he's your wife.
Evil. Yeah, he's the Captain Evil.
You know, so the psychology of it is our dynamic. And then I take it to them, and then they go, oh my God, that's so you.
Yeah.
Or that's so you, right? I'm doing the whole joke about the containers right now, right? And it's like, I love when women come and go, oh my God, he's a container guy. He puts everything in a fucking container, and there's containers everywhere. That's him, right?
Yeah.
So it is a personality type, but I thought the Chris Rock special was very, very good. Again,
You're going to have to watch the second half of it.
I don't know if you saw the intro. We did. We watched
Yes,
it twice because
yeah.
the intro was beautiful. There's a fucking second and a half
Yeah.
where he's pinning a card on the board. There's a second. So that's how we used to do TV shows.
I don't remember the.
We used to, remember, and when we've written movies before, we take the index
the note
cards and we
cards. Yeah,
put it
yeah.
out. So you see Chris Rock.
Oh, when he's like
And
beating out the set.
He
Yeah.
pins a card on the board that's all written out, right? So I would assume Chris Rock says, okay, I'm going to talk about getting slapped at the Oscars, which he talks about.
Yeah.
I think he would put getting slapped on a card, put that card up there as, I want this to be in the middle. And then he puts cards underneath it as to, okay, what are the jokes within that topic, right? And then he builds it out. So then when you look at these comedians who are 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 years in, and you go, here's Chris Rock, one of the greatest comedians of all time, fucking writing,
Yeah.
mapping it out, working on it. When I have Brian Hart with me on the road and we're sitting down after the show and we're freaking writing, man, and we're figuring it out and
Yeah.
we're going, well, get rid of this, get rid of that, try this. What about this joke here, right? And we're fucking diving into
And
it.
sometimes it's not that a joke itself standalone is not good or funny, but the overall arc of whatever that hour is, sometimes it just doesn't fit.
Well, right. And for me, my process started when I got my first special for Showtime.
Yeah.
I had been touring for 15 years already. I did that. And then I remember looking at it going, man, it should have and could have been better.
Yeah.
So then when I did Relatable, and at that time I was on the road with 2 comedians that were my opening acts, I solicited their advice and said, hey, help me make this better.
Right.
So then they made it better, but then I looked at it and I go, I still didn't work as hard as I should have.
Yeah.
So then by the time we did Till Death, my work ethic and my effort towards the set got better,
Yeah.
right? And then now
You really have honed in on what your process is to prepare for a special for sure.
and there's so much that goes behind that preparation,
Yeah.
right? So much writing, so much working, so much stage time, so much experimental. And I think that there's audience that love, and I would like to know Rick's opinion. I think there's audiences that love to see the process, and they think that's fun and funny.
Yeah.
But then I also think there's a whole separate audience that goes, just give me the fucking badass set.
Yeah. No, there's definitely people who you could go and tell a joke a second time and tweak it and they think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and they go, oh my gosh, when I first saw you 8 months ago, you barely were talking about this, and now it's a whole thing, right? So,
Yeah.
Rick, which do you prefer, or do you prefer both?
I prefer both. It depends who and what, but I do prefer both.
Do you like to see? Do you like to see the process over time, or do you prefer to catch a moment of somebody and then later on seeing that special and going, Oh, I remember when he just was mentioning that little joke, and now it's a whole thing.
I do like that. I do like to see the progression, but I like to see the polished and then go back and see it.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's interesting because, but I do think that there is people who go, just give me the finished product.
Well, no, because you'll have people who will say, like, especially around when you release a special, I feel like we get this question a lot is, do I want to watch the special? I have tickets to go see you in a month or two live, and I don't want to see the special because I don't want to have that to compare the live show to. And I just always think that's interesting because in my opinion, they're, very different, completely different things.
That's what's been so fun about the tour this year is I am going to markets that I haven't been to in forever.
Yeah.
Right. So Des Moines, where were we at the week before that? Oh, that was Helicopters for Heroes. But Des Moines, I'm in Columbus this weekend. They're going to see a whole new hour that they've never seen before. I've been there in 2 years.
I mean, you have markets coming up on the East Coast that you've never done, like Mashantucket, Connecticut.
Yeah, I'm doing Wisconsin. I'm doing Green Bay. So that's what's so great about this year is that I'm going to all these markets that I've never been before.
Yeah.
And doing a set that they've never seen. So that gets me excited too to go, man, you guys are getting to see this finished product that everybody else has seen.
Yeah.
Right. So then once we film it, boom, let's start over. Right.
Yeah.
And now Russell Peters, that guy's brave. He will literally dump everything.
All at once? Well, I mean, I think that's like the clean way to do it, right? That way, it's filmed, people are seeing, and you're taking, there's the reverse. I feel like what a lot of other comics do is they film it and then they take that set on the road, right? Once it's completed and done.
Yep.
But I can see how creatively that can get boring.
And we've always talked about it too. And I think Rick has actually brought it up, like maybe filming a greatest hits, right? Maybe going back and going, okay, what's the best bit from my Showtime special? Buddy. Right. What's the best bit from Relatable?
Yeah.
What's the best bit from Till Death?
That would
What's
be
the
fun.
best bit from I Speak Wife? Right.
I feel like that would be fun to do.
I think so
the
too.
Auctioneer, see, you're so good when you do the Auctioneer. That's so good.
Because we want to call the special Simple Man is what we want to call this next special. Steve Trevino, Simple Man, right? Because, and it's so fucking complicated because people are going to go like, really, dude, you're simple? Yes, I'm a very simple man, and I do want to live a simple life.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why we live in Texas, which is why we don't live around the industry, which is why most of our friends are not in the business.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Rick would agree that, when you're in the business and you hang out with people in the business and all you ever talk about is the business, man, that shit wears on you, man. And this community that we've built here of people not in the business, it has just been wonderful. Garrett's been sick, and every baseball mom and every baseball dad, how's Garrett doing? God, we missed the guy on Sunday and we love him, and please please let him know that we're thinking about him and we're praying about him and all that good stuff. So I like the title Simple Man, especially because I am talking about my father and growing up and my mother and also talking about how I grew up, how it was a simpler time.
Yeah.
It was slower. It was more simple.
Yeah.
There was not as much.
It's the truck bit.
Yep, the truck bit.
Yeah.
Simple Man, right? So one of the things we're going to do, and I probably shouldn't even say anything, but I'm me and I don't give a fuck. So the reason we call it Simple Man is because this special in particular, I want to dedicate the show, of course, to the veterans, but to the hardworking people of the world. Yeah. The people that do the really hard jobs and nobody says thank you. So what we're going to do with you guys is we're going to ask you to submit pictures of you and your spouse at work. And then at the end of the special, we're hoping to gather thousands and thousands of pictures from you guys. And then when the credits roll, we're going to have those pictures back there. Everyday working people. And just to let them know that, man, I think about you, I appreciate you, and I perform for you.
Yeah.
I am your entertainment on the weekends. after you have worked your ass off as a nurse, as a garbage man, as a janitor, as a teacher, as a whatever.
Yeah.
I am your entertainment, and the reason I get to do what I do for a living is because of your hard work. Here's a homage to you.
Yeah.
So that is the plan for the next special, Simple Man, and we really hope to pull that off soon.
Yeah.
You know, but I did most of the talking. I tried to carry the weight.
I'm sorry. I have the little shivers.
I know,
I appreciate it.
You're not feeling well.
I tried to hang in there with you, and sometimes I would feel my eyes like
no, baby.
drifting off.
Maybe you don't go to your hair appointment today. You know, maybe you take the break on the hair appointment. What do you think?
I don't know. A girl got to get her hair did.
You're not that sick, apparently. Apparently, you're not that sick. We do have to thank our sponsors, Pick Cherries. That's the best way to cancel somebody.
You gotta quit saying
I
that.
know.
We don't want that to be their slogan. It is share podcast like never before. Pick Cherries.
And then Old Salt Coffee, the most delicious coffee in the world.
Yes, I think I'm gonna have another cup of coffee. Is what I'm gonna do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then of course, Aztec Chevrolet. God bless them. We love them so much. They're amazing to us. I'm so happy in the vehicle that I got, but freaking hellstorm. Within 2 weeks of me having the vehicle, and I have dents in my new vehicle, so we're gonna get that fixed. But I do want to mention something. So Portland, Texas.
Yes.
Gregory, Portland, where we grew up. Will always have a special place in my heart, and it is home. And I do like to stay involved in Portland. I still have family, and
Yeah.
my great grandmother was born on that dirt, so it is always the Trevino home and your home as well. Well, years ago, my dad was a part of the VFW post there, and for whatever reason, that VFW post was actually taken away from them, and I don't know what happened. Don't care. I have spent the past few years tracking down the right people to get it reinstated. So that is my project for the next few months. Yes, of course, we're going to continue raising money for Helicopters for Heroes, but I'm going to try to focus on opening the VFW post in Portland, Texas, for those veterans that need that sense of community, that need that sense of camaraderie.
Right now, there's a group of them that meets at McDonald's for breakfast.
The
right?
the old timers. Yep. So that's what we're working on, guys, and I'm very excited. So I will be running my mouth about that and what we're doing in Portland, Texas too. And it's just a lame thing to do, but I like being lame. So we love you guys. Captain Evil, you look beautiful as always.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon. Thank you.